Right now, the news from Ukraine is deeply concerning. The future of our country is being decided as we speak. But no matter the challenges, we continue. Culture, art, and dialogue must not stop, and they are part of our resilience. So today, we continue our program with Ukraine's renowned street artist, Gamlet Zinkivskyi, and Gamlet Zinkivskyi. And I want to say that his murals have become a symbol for Kharkiv, but also symbols for many other cities. The artist talk will be facilitated by Iryna Melnychenko, who is a writer and can present herself a little bit more by herself. So please, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Hamlet.
Good morning.
Before we officially start, I want to greet all of you. And if you need Ukrainian translation for this conversation, please take seats in the front row. We have our wonderful translator here. If you are okay with English, that's absolutely fine. Sit whenever you want. Everything is broadcasted live right now, so please share in your social media if your friends will be interested in seeing this conversation. Everything is also recorded, so if you missed or want to hear that again and watch that again, just visit the Ukraine Culture Now Facebook webpage, and everything is stored there. So I want to greet Hamlet again. And to start with, I want to say that getting ready for any sort of interview or talk nowadays is very different from what it used to be before. Earlier, to get information about a person, you had to speak to other people who know the person and stuff. Now, people usually just roam through social networks, check like Instagram page, Facebook page, whatever person has, and people might think that that's enough to know the person, which is like absolutely wrong. So I would start with the question, who is Gamlet Zinkivskyi?
A person without Facebook.
That I noticed.
And I have Instagram, but it's official page, and I couldn't check what's going on there. Because I have manager and I just bring the photos what I'm do. She make a translation, and I don't know what after. Probably people watch what I'm doing, probably in Instagram.
Oh, they do. You have many thousands of followers there.
Yeah. Okay.
But who are you as a person? How would you describe yourself? In general, when I watched videos with you, I had an impression that you completely understood what Zen is. Like, you're very calm, very considerate, and very philosophical about how the life goes on. But I can assume that's not absolutely truth. So please give me your perception of yourself. Give all of us.
Yeah, I think I'm very quiet and very Buddhistic person after huge party, and after alcohol. Like...
Everyone.
Yeah, everything. I understand everything. But I don't know. I'm still trying to understand who I am, because a lot of people told me, you are artist, okay. You are volunteer, okay. You are a philosopher, okay. But I just have a very strange life, and
like typical artist's life, let's say so.
Yes. And I choose art because I love freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I understand what's waiting for me in the future, and I understand this moment in the school time, I have go to a job, have a boss. I don't
Work
like this
from 8
perspective.
till 6.
Yeah. I don't need this perspective. I don't wanna. I wanna be a free person. And very important for artists to be very disciplined person, because no one asks you what you have do or didn't do. You choose every time what you're doing and for what. And it's my way how I can communicate it with the world. It's very interesting for me way. And social media, I start social media on the street. My picture was like a social media in 2008. We start make a street art, and for me street art, it was something very important when you do something huge color. And
That actually leads me to the question. When you started the street art, you obviously were not famous then, and it obviously wasn't legal. So you kind of make a decision to do something that is rebellious, and I'm not saying against the law, because there is not law about this, but against some social norms. So I would love to know what led you to this decision. When someone comes on the streets and do something border close to vandalism. But that's not vandalism, that's art. So let's try to distinguish. That's vandalism.
Yes.
Okay. So you kind of agree that that was a rebellion. Tell
I'm
us more
professional
about what
vandalist,
led you there.
yes.
Professional vandalist.
More than 15 years I didn't take a permission for my works. And now, of course, in Kharkiv it's possible to do something, and people didn't ask why I'm... Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I still met people who say, "What are you doing?" I didn't like it. You didn't ask me what I'm thinking about your work.
Okay.
Very comedian for me. But yes, it's still illegal to do something on the street without permission. For me, it's very stupid rule, and I little change this rule.
Taxpayers would not always agree. I mean, it should be some sort of consensus, right? Between people, between government, and between artists. So my question is, what actually made you to take the risk of breaking the rules, to take your art to the streets?
I understand 15 years ago, if I take a permission, it will be tried to get this balance. What they want, what I want. No, it's not my way. I only want to do what I want. And I get a lot of problem with police many years ago. But every time when I pay money, corruption money for police, it was before 2014, and I think I want to see a day when I can go outside and do whatever I want on every wall what I'm choose. Yeah, and now, yes, it's possible for me do whatever I want everywhere. In Kharkiv, for sure. In another cities, it's little harder for me, but I'm not interested in other cities. I'm interested in cities kind of Liman, Kupiansk, and it's problem to see a police there.
And any kind of law.
Yes,
general.
or law owners who say, it's my wall, you didn't ask me, my permission, personality. So, yeah.
I want to add a little bit context for people from Sweden. Why Kharkiv is in general that important in our case. Kharkiv used to be the first capital of Ukraine, and people from Kharkiv love the city absolutely madly, and there is an ongoing humorous I don't know, rivalry between people from Kiev and people from Kharkiv. We are the capital. No, we are the capital. Who loves the city more? Who is best? Who is more artistic? Who is all in general. You are the first capital. Kiev is actual capital.
Kiev?
Yeah, see? What is Kiev?
What is this? What are you talking about?
Of course. So, being a renowned artist in Kharkiv is something that is a place of deep self-esteem and respect, and a place to tell the world about your city. And that's, I will ask our team to start showing the presentation. Please show the first slide, because talking about the artist is strange without showing artist pictures. And now you will understand why we started with vandalism, but now Gamlet is a renowned street artist who is basically a symbol of his city. Is it ongoing?
No. Yes.
I didn't, by the way, is written in English, but the last part in Ukrainian can be translated as I didn't buy this way, but it is so expensive. And tell us more about this work, please.
It was totally destroyed. You have a next photo or no?
No.
Only one? Because it's building in Izum, 5 floor, and all floors, all house spalony.
Burned down.
Burned down, and only first floor with this wood windows, and I do this picture with the light, and because for me Izum it's a city which was deoccupied, and
Let's give more details, please, to our Swedish guests. It's close to Kharkiv, right?
it's close. It's 140 kilometers from Kharkiv. This city was occupied, and after 6 months around deoccupied, and it was total destroyed. 80% cities die. So you see a dead city. And now life little step by step turn back to Izum, but it's still very sad when you see a lot of houses without people, without nothing. And
when was this painting made?
I do this work in summer 2023. Yeah.
After the deoccupation?
Yes. I do street art before huge invasion in 2017. I put them, I don't know, around 10 works. And when I came at first time after the occupied, it was October 2022. And I met few people, very poor people, on the street. And they asked me, "You are Gamlet, you came for make a street art?" And I say, "No, because you see that city."
So they gave you an idea?
Yes, and I think, okay, It's a little bit strange to do something in Izium, but I have do it for these people, and I say probably in the next year, when it will be more warm, I will came and do something, and yeah, I restart do something in Izium, and understand for me it's something new. When you, of course, when you work in Kupiansk, in Liman, it's small towns, and now only soldiers there, and rocket attack every day, artillery every 5-10 minutes in Kupiansk, every time move drones around you, and you never know it's your drones, Ukrainians drones, or Russian drones. If it's Russian drones, they can kill you. So in this situation, work on the street and do something for soldiers. It's very interesting experience. Good message for.
It's a very brave work.
Yeah.
By the way, before we move on to the next slide, you keep mentioning, giving interviews, that you do job for soldiers and that your commander asked you to do that. But I would love to clarify for our guests, how does it work in general? Are you a part of some battalion right now? Why do you say the commander? How does it work?
Yeah, because I'm in the battalion, yes.
So you are a military.
Yes. Yes. Not in the classical way, for sure. I am not on the zero line, I am not fighting, but.
There are different jobs in
Yeah.
military, of course. Not everything goes on the front line, not everything on the zero line. There is, as we called, a cultural front line, and that might sound very pathetic in a way, but it's still an ongoing discussion on how much of the front line is basically the cultural front line. So we are trying to understand how much that helps what you do, what we do, what every artist does. Please show us the next slide. This is your works from Kharkiv, and that brings us back to a conversation of Kharkiv being the first capital. If we translate the first picture, it's everything here is through the Ha, which means beginning of Kharkiv, and Ha as the laughing symbol, because laugh is one of the ways Ukrainians cope with stress and everything.
Yeah.
And please tell us more, as a person from Kharkiv, about that being from Kharkiv is a diagnosis. That's what's written in the second picture.
We talk with one businessman about Kharkiv, and this talk was, I don't know, in winter 22 or.
Is it
around-
Kharkiv businessman?
Yes. And he told me about him factory, and he say, I buy a new machine. It's cost 2 million euro, and it was very hard way to bring this huge machine. It's huge trucks to bring it from border to Kharkiv.
During the wartime.
Yes. And they found people who came to Kharkiv and collect this huge machine. And everything fine. This machine is work, produce a material, what he do. And he told me, all my friends, businessmen, who move to Europe, ask me, are you crazy? Are you idiot? Rocket attack will kill this machine, and why you didn't choose a region? Because Kharkiv, it's very dangerous change region, move to Ivano-Frankivsk, to Lviv, somewhere not in Kharkiv. And they didn't understand, and I couldn't explain why I stay in Kharkiv. And I listen to this story and say, probably because it's diagnosis. And he say, yeah, fucking you're right, yeah, it's diagnosis. Yeah. So when you stay in Kharkiv and do something, and of course you understand it can be your last day. And for me, it was possible to leave the country and start a career in Europe.
Houses and walls are everywhere.
Yes, of course. But for me, it's not interesting. It's my city. And about Kharkiv, one journalist from United States asked me, "Look, it's true that Kharkiv's people love Kharkiv so much." Yes, it's true. And all Kharkiv's people sure that it's best city in the world. I say yes, but many of that then think it's best city in the galactic.
I have a friend who is from Kharkiv, and Zhenya, if you're watching us right now, take a look. I'm touching him. That's her never-ending dream. She asked me to say hello.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's a huge fan, as many other people. Please show us the next slide. The first, no, back, please. Come back. Yes, that's it. I believe that's the whole art project with
Yes.
different writings. The first one can be translated as "we all are working under rockets." That's the way, the changed saying of "we all are working under God." And this one doesn't need much of the discussion. But the next one basically brought big discussion also on my Facebook page when I asked people, like, if you were able to ask Gamlet about anything, what would you ask? And I've got ask him about this. So the second picture has the writing that can be translated as Russian language on the eastern part of Ukraine is a trophy. But there is, of course, ongoing discussion about the languages, and many people think that Russian language is the language of the enemy, and you should completely forget about this. Other people say, like, no, we are born with it, it's our by the right. So as an artist, please tell us, why did you make this writing? Did you understand how much of discussion it will bring? And what's your thinking behind it?
I talk with soldiers and say, look, I couldn't understand. You kill a Russian soldiers and still use a Russian language. What's wrong with you? And they say, Gamlet, shut up. It's our trophy.
So it's basically a quotation of the military.
Yeah, so it's a citate of soldiers, and it's funny because in Kharkiv, historical, it's Russian language because it's 35 kilometers from Russian border, and a lot of communication was with Belgorod, and a lot of people moved to Moscow just get money, get a job. So, Kharkiv very Russian speakers, the main of the people, and I changed language total because I don't wanna use Russian language anymore, and. Yeah, so for me it's very comedian work, and then I understand a lot of people get a question, Gamlet, what the fuck? You are patriot? Yes,
like,
I'm.
are you a patriot?
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's move to the next slide, please. To me, this one is one of the pictures that I can relate to a lot. How do we translate that into English? Moscow Patrontage?
Yes.
Patrontage is this military bag where soldiers have the patrons inside. So it's kind of bullets that Moscow uses against us. And religion is one of the ways they kept spreading their word and their beliefs. And please tell us more on how did you come to this idea?
Because they have Moscow Patriarchat, and I understand Patriarchat, it sounds like a patrontage.
That's the wordplay.
Yeah, yes, and if you little change, and a little change this idea Moscow patrontage and understand these bullets with churches. I like this idea, and I understand how long Russian propaganda put Russian ideas on the Ukrainian brain in the church.
That's again needs a little bit of explanation because in Ukraine we did have the Russian churches spread all over the country in the galactic amounts. It was like around 50% of all the churches were under Russian patriarchy and Russian influence. And if you dig deeper back, even during the Soviet time when the churches were kind of forbidden, people still wanted to go to churches. So what did USSR government do? They put the KGB agents working as priests in churches, spreading the narratives they wanted in the disguise of the servants of the God. Did you have the heated conversations with people who are going to this kind of churches before getting this idea?
No, many years ago, yes. Before huge invasion, yes. I met people who explain, "Oh, come on, it's huge. People just making money, blah blah blah."
Make money on what?
From war. So it's not a true war. It's bullshit. We the same people, Ukrainian and Russian. We are the same, but I'm not interested. I'm not respect these people. So it's very short communication.
You have a huge amount of tolerance, not going into more deeper conversations.
I'm not really tolerant, you know. I don't want to spend my life for stupid people.
Makes sense.
Yes, it's very short life, you know. And in Kharkiv, you feel it very well when you go sleep with rocket attacks and wake up after rocket attack in the morning. So yeah.
How does this process work in your head in general when you come with an idea and put that into some sort of picture?
Just thinking.
You're just thinking?
Yes.
For how long? I mean, some pictures might appear just immediately. Some need more time to process.
Of course.
So which one of your pictures, for example, appeared immediately as an image?
Sometimes think came very long and you think it's interesting, but I have to think about it, and I put in my notice in a telephone just think after. Sometimes after came never, because I'm not interested in this thing. Sometimes it came like, yes, Moscow patrontage, yeah, exactly, and just I need just time for make it. That's all. Sometimes someone gives me something. Soldiers bring me a lot of different, very strange shit, and say, "It's for you. Please do something and sell it and bring money for another soldiers. Buy something, drones, cars, etc." And I put in my studio this strange scene and thinking what I have do with this strange scene. And sometimes it just came like, yeah, exactly. I wanna make here a picture, and after I give it piece of art to volunteers who collect money and buy something important for soldiers.
Which one of your works was the most difficult for you emotionally?
I think it's project 365.
Tell us more about this project, please.
I do this project many years from 2013. It was first project when I do every day from 1st of January till 31 of December. I do one draw, one small text, that's all, but all year. And next project was in 2015. And when I do a third project, I understand I wanna see a 10 projects. It's taken 20 years of my life. And it's very interesting communication with the time, because I can watch what I'm doing and what I'm thinking in 2015 and how I can make it this drawing. And one project you can see in Stockholm from 2023 in Army Museum. They have very good exhibitions there, historical.
Crossroads?
Crossroads, yes. And last project, it's my project with drawing all Mondays from a year, and you can very quickly to watch what's going on in my Mondays 2 years ago. And in this year, I restart next project 365. So emotional, it's very hard because you still have the same question what you have as usual, and you want to make a street art and meet your friends and sometimes travel if you need it or something like that. And
survive at the same time.
yes, but every day you have to draw, found something interesting, a picture, and create idea. And it's hard, but another part of this project is very good because I have a small meditation every day. It's take around one draw, take now around 2 hours, 3 hours. So it's good time for listen to music and do something. So it's good for my brain.
We are running out of time, unfortunately. That sounds philosophically. But I would love to ask you, what would you think as the best influence your works have on people? What's the main goal? What would you love to have as an influence? I can.
Українською, типу, найголовніший
Як би ти
меседж.
хотів, щоб твої роботи впливали на людей? If you even have this idea, maybe you were making that just for yourself.
Many years I've found very ugly place. And after 6-10 hours, ugly place, dirty place, change. and people stopped and make a photo or selfie. And I changed a lot of ugly places in Kharkiv. And stopped and thinking. I love people who have a time for thinking.
Sometimes you have to make time to think.
Yes, not scrolling shit in Instagram or TikTok but stopped and thinking what you have, who you are, what is your way, where you going.
Now it's time for questions from the audience. Is there something you want to ask Hamlet about? Yeah, usually silence means whether you answered all the questions or you just made people even more puzzled. Okay, then I
have one question.
Sure.
And I saw your film at the Army Museum for a couple of days. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you are the one of the most famous person in Ukraine.
No.
Street artist. No, I don't have. I have voice.
You have a
Yeah.
strong voice.
Yeah, good voice.
Thank you. Do you have some plan to make something here in Sweden when you are on the journey here? A small piece. No, big one. You do Betsy, the English one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he makes some small signs here and there around the world. Do you have some thought about that?
For sure, not now. Not now, and so now everything fine with Stockholm, you know? When I turn back, I don't know, we have to see.
We would love to see Hamlet back, but if he would be banned for vandalizing Stockholm, that wouldn't be a good idea.
Because I really want to taste Swedish prison, you know? I heard a lot about it.
Oh, they say it's one of the best in the world. Some
Yes,
people have pension
yes,
plans to stay in
yes.
Swedish prison.
And I can restart study Spanish.
That's Ukrainian humor, guys. Don't take it seriously. Any more questions? Yes, please. Можна українською.
Я хотіла запитати, чи важко було, в принципі, приїхати сюди з війни, я би так сказала, і помістити себе на цей короткий час в якісь розмови.
We will translate that for people who are watching that in English. The question is if that was difficult to come here now during the wartime and make a psychological switch from the war to peaceful environment.
Ну, так, і особливо з цим розумінням, що знову повернетеся
Especially
туди.
knowing that you'll have to come back to the war.
І взагалі ці розмови про щось інше, яке вони мають значення зараз для вас.
Before I came here, it was the same feeling. For what? I moved to Europe, and what it's changed? It's changed nothing. I want to stay with my friends, with rockets attack, etc., etc. My music, but of course, it's very important to open your eyes for what we're fighting. Because here, amazing life, where people do what they want to do, and it's reminded me for what we are fighting, for a normal life. With, I don't know, it's very long, how many everything interesting I see here, and but I wait in a moment when I'm turned back to Kharkiv. I love Stockholm so much. Thank you, Yogana. I love Stockholm. I am here second time. And I love my city so much. And after this traveling, I understand how many work we have to build a new level of good life. Not now, of course, because, you know, rocket destroy very quickly. You can build something year or few years and one rocket destroy it in one moment. But for a future, so it's very important travel for me. Not easy for feeling, of course. And of course, it's not feeling when you communicate with soldiers and they bring you a small video what's going on, what they have on a zero line. It's hard. And of course, I'm not forget what's going on there. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to turn back.
Thank you so much for your question. I think that's a perfect note for us to finish today. Thank you everyone for being here. Share the news, tell your friends, and I just want to hug you.